Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander viewers are advised that the following program contains images and voices of people who have died.
$30 million payday for Palm Island rioters. The police station was burnt down with officers inside. Now, hundreds of locals have received massive taxpayer-funded compensation checks.
I'll have that one.
Brand new boats, luxury cars, spending millions in just a couple of weeks.
But why was money awarded to so many who were in prison at the time or dead?
A 9 News major investigation, Monday.
Hello, I'm Paul Barry. Welcome to Media Watch. And that blockbuster promo from 9 News last week promised viewers a vintage tabloid tale. Supposed Aboriginal thugs wasting your money.
New sports cars with custom paint jobs, luxury boats paid for in cash.
We sold a boat for $70,000.
A taste of what $30 million of taxpayer money is being spent on.
I've written quite a few cheques in six figures.
And just in case you missed the point of Nine's story, the Daily Mail's rewrite next day made it crystal clear.
Sports cars, motorbikes and luxury boats. How locals have blown much of the $30 million compensation given to them after the Palm Island riots on lavish goods.
Note the words blown and lavish. So, what was the $30 million payout? Well, it all began 16 years ago with a man called Murungi Dumaji, who died in a Palm Island police cell from severe internal injuries less than 1 hour after he was locked up for swearing. 1 week later, Dumaji's death was officially declared an accident, and a large group of islanders rioted in response, whereupon the police cracked down with a show of force that a court found could not be justified.
The federal court has ruled parts of the police response were racist and excessive, following a class action launched by convicted ringleader Lex Wotton.
According to the judgment in that landmark case, masked Special Emergency Response Police
broke into the houses of 18 families on Palm Island with assault rifles raised, confronting unarmed men, women and children in and around those houses.
One Palm Islander, who was 9 at the time, later described what happened to SBS.
He told me to put my face in the dirt. I saw the gun pointing straight at my forehead, so I ended up putting my head straight down in the dirt.
It's that sort of intimidation that saw the class action settle for $30 million, divided among 447 residents. But Nine reporter Alex Heike was much less focused on why residents deserve the compensation than he was on how they've spent the money.
For boatyards in Townsville, business is booming.
Worked out a price with us and then said we'll be back in half an hour with the money, and they went to the bank and came back.
Now, you might reckon buying a boat is not a bad idea when you live on an island. But more to the point, why is it anybody's business but theirs how they spend their money? As Indigenous academic Dr Chelsea Bond told Media Watch,
victims of violence, including racial violence at the hands of the state, are entitled to spend the compensation how they please. After all they have been through, they deserve it.
Bond was just one of many to express outrage at the reporting, with comments like this on Nine's Twitter feed.
What garbage!
Awful, awful reporting. Truly appalling racism. Shame on you.
And the lawyer who won the class action, Stuart Levitt, was also angry, telling First Nations Telegraph that Nine's so-called investigation
was just based on racist tropes about Indigenous people and why they should not have the benefit of damages awarded to them by the federal court following a lengthy trial.
But claims the report was racist are just the start of Nine's problems, because the story's key claim is also hotly disputed. Nine told viewers that millions of dollars were awarded to people on Palm Island who had no right to receive it.
Tonight, a major 9 News investigation reveals serious holes in the payment process, seeing taxpayer money set aside for people who, at the time of the riots, were in jail or dead.
Lawyer Stuart Levitt says that charge is simply false. Writing for First Nations Telegraph, he says the claimants were vetted carefully and no one who was in jail or dead at the time of the riots received 1 cent.
The claims were carefully scrutinised, and there is not a scintilla of evidence to suggest that anyone paid is a dodgy claimant. No money is in the process of being redirected.
So, what does Nine have to say in its defence? Well, they deny the racism charge, and remarkably, they claim that Stuart Levitt was in fact the source of their story. Telling Media Watch,
the Supreme Court did award money to fraudulent claimants, people using the names of other Palm Islanders who A, weren't on the island at the time, B, were in prison at the time, or C, were dead long before the time. Stuart Levitt, the lawyer who signed all the compensation cheques on behalf of the state government and who appeared in the story, told Nine News that he and his legal team discovered these people had lied in the class action and removed their names from the pool of people sharing in the $30 million before they wrongly received any money.
So, where does that leave us? Well, even Nine's statement makes clear no money was actually paid to the wrong people, which is not the impression we believe the average punter would have got from watching Nine's nasty, sensationalist and quite clearly racist report. And in any case, lawyer Stuart Levitt strongly disputes what Nine is saying, telling Media Watch,
I did not tell Channel 9, and it would have been a lie if I had, that the Supreme Court awarded any money to fraudulent claimants. I did not tell Nine News that any of the claimants did not exist. This is entirely false. Mr Heinke appears to have confabulated facts into a piece which entirely distorts reality.
Stuart Levitt says around 5 of 450 claims were knocked back, but no money was paid in error. And he told Media Watch he is considering legal action against the network. Meanwhile, there's a couple of other points. We're told that this boat, which featured prominently in Nine's report, was bought in 2018 and not with compensation dollars. That's from someone who says he's the owner. And we're also told that this interview in the car yard was filmed secretly by Nine and without consent. Car yard boss Gary Lewis told Media Watch,
Carmichael Ford in no way support the story or the basis of it. I was not contacted prior to this story and would have declined to participate.
We put those allegations to Nine. We did not hear back. But now, to what we've all been hoping for, a miracle cure for COVID-19, or better still, a vaccine that works, so we can all get back to normal. And last week, News Corp's big city tabloids, the Daily Telegraph and Herald Sun, told us excitedly that a US biotech company has one on the way.
It actually works. Patients develop antibodies in COVID-19 vaccine breakthrough.
Researchers have had a major win in the fight against the coronavirus.
That news sent stock markets crazy and pushed the Dow Jones to its best rise in 6 weeks, with rallies all around the world. And media in the US and Australia just lapped it up.
Breaking news this morning on the search for a coronavirus vaccine.
I repeat, the big news of the day, no question, Moderna, a real breakthrough on a virus vaccine.
Well, now to a major breakthrough in the race for a coronavirus vaccine, with the first human trials in the US showing promising results.
And it was not just TV, because right across rural Queensland and New South Wales, 34 separate News Corp mastheads trumpeted in unison,
Virus vaccine breakthrough.
This so-called major breakthrough was claimed by US biotech company Moderna in a media release on the results of its first human trials, reported excitedly by the Telly and Herald Sun.
The firm's chief medical officer, Dr. Tal Zaks, said overnight the vaccine actually works due to its ability to stimulate the human immune system.
But several vaccine scientists were unconvinced, with Dr. Peter Hotez telling the Boston Globe,
You cannot do science by press release. They didn't back it up with any data, and the statements they did make about it simply confused rather than illuminated.
Moderna's study covered just 45 patients and gave results for only 8. It also gave no detail as to how high the antibodies were or how long they lasted. So, scientists like Hotez had virtually nothing to go on.
Tell us what your concerns are here.
Well, it's not so much concerns, it's just that there was no real data presented. This was a press release.
So, was it a breakthrough, he was asked?
Is this a breakthrough? It's a breakthrough in the sense that at least the vaccine doesn't seem to cause serious adverse reaction in most patients, so that's good. But in terms of the level of antibody and whether that's sufficient to protect individuals against getting COVID-19, we're not there yet.
Other experts also raised their doubts, especially in this influential article in STAT, which is medical speak for urgent. But that didn't stop the money men calling it a slam dunk. In a widely reported note to investors, one of Moderna's brokers, Alan Carr at Needham & Co, said the results were
pretty encouraging
and concluded,
based on these data, we believe the vaccine is likely to be found effective for prevention of infection.
And Moderna's share price, which has nearly quadrupled since the start of the year on vaccine hopes, duly rose another 21%. Whereupon, after the market closed,
Moderna announced that it plans to sell $1.25 billion worth of stock to fund manufacturing and distribution of its vaccine candidate.
Moderna's claims of a major breakthrough obviously makes raising that money far easier. It also puts millions of dollars into the pockets of Moderna's management via stock options. And both give the company a huge incentive to puff up the vaccine's prospects. But that's why the media need to be a lot more sceptical. Experts warn that a vaccine is probably 12 to 18 months away and may never happen. But in the media, there is a breakthrough every couple of weeks. Back in February, it was Imperial College London.
Sky News reporting that a British scientist has apparently made a breakthrough in the race for a vaccine.
In April, it was Queensland University.
There's been a coronavirus vaccine breakthrough in Queensland. Early tests have shown the potential vaccine can raise high levels of antibodies that can neutralise the virus.
And also in April, Oxford University broke through too.
In the global race to find a vaccine, Oxford University just jumped way ahead of the pack. Human testing is already underway, and scientists say they're hopeful it will be available by September.
So, how is that one going? Well, we had more news last Monday, and it was not so good.
Coronavirus. Oxford vaccine fails animal trials.
Doubts raised over Oxford coronavirus vaccine after all of the monkeys that took part in the trial are found to have contracted the disease.
So, not such a breakthrough after all. And let that be a lesson. It's fine to hope, but the media has a duty to be a bit more hard-headed. Dial back on the hype and don't just parrot the press release. And finally, to fashion, with some hot looks for the post-lockdown season, courtesy of Seven's The Morning Show.
It's time to put the PJs away now that some of us are heading back to the office. Is it a good time to clean out the closet and update our wardrobe, you reckon?
Good morning, guys. It absolutely is. I mean, like many of the viewers, I'm excited to get back out into the real world, dress up because it makes you feel good as well.
That is celebrity stylist Donny Galella, a familiar face to Morning Show viewers for his fashion do's and don'ts. And last week, it was all about recreating celebrity looks for less.
Victoria Beckham loves an animal print. Here she is wearing the coatigan. Talk us through how you've styled this look.
So if a coat and a cardigan had a baby, they would produce the coatigan. So the coatigan gives you the look of a coat, but it's soft.
For a full 7 minutes, Donny paraded cut-price celebrity fashions from Jennifer Lopez to Kim Kardashian, and all for next to nothing. So, where do you lay down the plastic? At the very store Donny just happened to be in.
The best thing about Big W is you can get really valuable outfits without breaking the bank and still look really stylish.
And at the end of the item, we were told by Kylie,
to get your hands on these amazing looks, you can head to bigw.com.au.
Yes, so you know where this is going. Was it all an ad? Sure enough, when we asked Big W parent Woolworths if Donny was on the payroll, they confirmed.
Big W has maintained a successful working partnership with Donny Galella since 2018.
And that 7-minute morning show segment?
The recent Channel 7 morning show appearance was a paid advertorial with the network.
So, why was it not disclosed? 7 tells us it was a, quote, production error. But it seems there's a few of those about. In a paper on commercial influence in January, the ACMA fingered a number of news and current affairs programmes for failing to fess up, including another advertorial from you-know-who.
9 News Now included a report on Big W's Toy Mania sale and an interview with a toy buyer for Big W. The story featured Big W products and prices and no other retailers, and no disclosure of an arrangement was made.
The ACMA says disclosure is required by the code and must be made
in any way that adequately brings the arrangement to the attention of viewers, including during the program, in the credits, or on a billboard appearing directly before or after the program, or on the official website of the program.
As far as we can see, 7 did none of those. So, what is ACMA doing about it? They told us they're investigating whether the code has been breached and will then decide what action to take. You can read a statement from them on our website. But in the meantime, here is a bit of free advice. The public is sick of this. It's time that clear disclosure that something is a paid plug was both demanded and enforced. And meanwhile, it's not just happening on TV. Back in April, Donny was getting paid to spruik Big W in the Daily Mail.
Donny Galella was browsing online when he spotted a $20 burgundy hoodie and matching $20 sweatpants made from plush velour on Big W's website.
Yes, he just happened to be browsing. And earlier this month, he was earning a quid for putting the store on news.com.au.
Fiona Faulkner sparks frenzy for $39 Big W jumpsuit. Celebrity stylist Donnie Galella helped Fiona choose the piece, telling news.com.au it was the perfect isolation outfit.
And did they tell readers Donnie was spruiking for Big W? No, they did not. But if a stylist is spruiking a retailer, you can bet somebody is getting paid. That's all from us tonight. There's more on our website, including statements from Stuart Levitt, Nine and the ACMA. And don't forget, Media Bites every Thursday on your favourite social media platform. But for now, until next week, goodbye.